What's going on, guys? This is Forge Sports Media. We're here at episode 12.
A little dozen action.
Cheaper by the dozen, baby.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
So we obviously have just come out of Waco. There's a lot to talk about. Debriefing that tournament. We've got the outline here for us. What else we got on the slate?
I mean, we're going to talk about the Open of Austin after that. We're going to make some predictions, get a little update on our picks from Waco. We've got the new discs. We've got Foshee's Fun and Games. Took a week hiatus, but we're back.
There we go.
And we'll top it off with Thomas's top 5.
Yeah, I've got a nice little Thomas's top 5. A little one I made on the fly, but I think it'll be a good one.
Perfect. So let's start out with Waco. Waco was wildin'.
Yeah, absolutely nuts.
Absolutely crazy.
Which, I don't know, y'all listening, if you watch much of the live coverage versus watching post-produced. I and Trey, we both watch live probably more. We'll watch the post-produced on the back end just to kind of refresh our minds of what happened, but the live coverage is just getting better.
It's better and better. I mean, they're still going to have their glitches. They're working through it, but they're doing a great job. I just prefer it. The only reason I like to watch the post-produced is I like seeing what people are throwing.
Right.
But other than that, I just absolutely prefer live coverage. It's electric.
Yeah, and they're definitely getting better. I think it's very easy from our end to say, man, that is just so bad. But what they're doing is very hard. It is very tough to get cameras out there with the connection, with the funding that's obviously not at the level of just a huge major sport.
Right, for sure. So we're very thankful for live coverage. We really enjoy it, and you guys should check out, the Disc Golf Network if you're not already.
Yeah, it's really awesome. You get to go watch it back. I mean, we're getting first round coverage this year, whereas last year it was final round coverage, which I think is the smart thing to do as the Disc Golf Network to not say here's the best coverage for you to watch. And your average disc golfer that probably doesn't care as much about round 1 and 2 is not going to buy a subscription if they get to watch the final round every time on YouTube.
Agreed. So I think they made a smart move there. But let's get into the meat of what happened at Waco.
Let's start with the FPO, just because that, chronologically speaking, happened first.
Yeah, let's do it. Ella Hansen choked.
I feel so bad.
I know.
It's just, she had everything going for her leading in to hole 16 with I believe a 4-stroke lead.
Yeah, it was a 4-stroke lead.
I've been absolutely crushing it all day.
And all tournament in reality. She was just in the hunt or in the lead almost the entire tournament.
And in this environment of disc golf, to be beating Kristin Tattar going into the end of a tournament just says a lot about how good you're playing.
She was playing lights out. Her first round was 1,000 rated, and her second round was in the high 900s. Yep. So she played some fantastic golf for, now you're going to make me do math, 69 holes.
Yeah.
So those last three.
Last three absolutely got her. It was hole 16. She goes OB, goes up and down, takes the bogey, I believe.
Yeah, she took bogey on all 3 holes.
Correct. Oh, she went up, missed the putt, took the bogey. Kristin takes the birdie.
Correct.
That's the swooping it plays kind of like a hyzer. You could technically play a flex shot if you wanted. Not a super long par 4.
No, and Kristin just played it correctly and got the easy birdie.
That's probably one of the easier. I didn't pull the stats this time, but I'd say that's one of the lower handicap holes.
Oh, I would say so for sure. And then going into hole 17, Ella throws out of bounds again.
Which it was so close. It was inches.
Oh, it was really close. But winds up out of bounds again, takes a bogey. Kristin goes par.
Right.
So you've got a 1-stroke lead going into 18.
And the women play from the same pad, but play it as a par 4.
Correct.
In the tournament. I believe it's 430 feet, something like that.
It's like 465, I believe.
Maybe that's right. It maybe you could say is a little downhill, but so much water, just the hazard is just ridiculous. OB on the backside.
And it seemed like Ella was going for the safe play, just going across, but way to the right, as you had seen some players do on both FPO and MPO.
And with the gamesmanship side of it, it's Kristin goes first and throws the layup. She literally hands it and says, in a moment of Ella being probably at one of her weakest moments going into hole 18 with a 1-stroke lead, giving up 3 strokes, says, I dare you to do it.
Oh, and Kristin came into this tournament with 0 pressure.
Right.
She is
First
coming
event
off
of the year.
first event of the year, coming off an injury. She even came out and said that this was like her warm-up tournament.
Right.
And I wish I could have a warm-up tournament like that. But
yeah,
she lays up and then basically says, "Take it, Ella. You can do it."
Yeah, and Ella did wait quite a while because the first three people went and threw layup shots, and the card ahead of them was still finishing out. Like Haley King was up there still tapping out for I think
Eagle.
she got the eagle.
She got the eagle.
And then Ella finally stands up, takes out what I believe is a purple DD3. I think it was S-line, and just late release alongside maybe a little bit of a headwind, goes long OB.
Yeah, she turned the disc over and it never came back. And I mean, it was crushed, but just the wrong direction. But you think from where she was, she could more than likely save par.
Right. And in the best case for Kristin, having to go up and down, especially with where Kristin was, but like because I believe Kristin throws first because of where they go, and then Ella went and threw her next shot, and Kristin was just outside the circle, or was she right inside? It was right on the edge.
She was edge of circle, one way or the other.
And Ella goes and puts herself further away than Kristin on the layup.
Yeah,
I hate to see it.
It's just tough approach, and then misses the par putt. And so then you're relying on Kristin to miss. And when you're relying on Kristin to miss,
you're relying on way too much. Now, Kristin did go. She pulled out. She had her putters in hand, goes to the bag, pulls out what looks to be a putter meant for her to lay up with, holds it for a second, and switches back to the putting putter. I mean, just ice in her veins, and says, "I'm taking control of this."
Yeah, and so she takes it down with the birdie on the last hole, making a 5-stroke swing on the last 3 holes. And it
you see like Ella obviously emotional, go down, several friends coming up to her, consoling her, and that's just a tough spot because like Kristin, you're like excited, you just won. But like you've also got the person who's just like let it go.
Distraught.
How do you handle that?
I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. Ella gifted that win to Kristin.
Yeah.
All she had to do was not throw out of bounds one time.
Mm-hmm.
One time on 16, 17, or 18.
And she would have had at least a playoff.
Exactly. But those 2-stroke swings on 16 and 18, and even losing the one on 17, that was, Kristin
was gifted it. Obviously, Kristin played consistent golf, played good when she needed to, like we were talking about.
When she needed to, yeah. She was definitely not at her A game after round 1. But she did what she needed to do to win, and she did it. Yeah. So
it was exciting coverage to watch.
For sure. But then
I was very, and I know we'll get into like our picks from last week, which maybe we should go ahead and talk about that. Or we made our picks for this week. We can go ahead and talk about our FPO picks.
Yeah, for sure.
All of us picked Kristin Tattar to win, which none of us should have gotten points.
But we all get points.
We all got 5 points there.
It's a participation trophy.
I believe, did I pick Katrina to podium?
No, you picked Henna Blomroos.
That's right.
Matt picked Katrina Allen, and I picked Valerie Mondahano, and I don't have those in there. So
right,
but
I picked Caroline Henderson, and I think her first round was very bad, comparative. It played like less than 20 points under her rating. But it was her first time ever being on like real live coverage. Like you're a feature card, you got everybody watching you.
And playing with probably 2 of her idols.
Yeah. She mentioned in the Jomez did their FPO coverage, and they did a breakdown on her, and she talked about the fact that she had a specific, I can't remember the disc because I don't throw much trilogy in general, Latitude nonetheless. Yeah. But there was a particular disc that she was like, I'm going to play with Kristin, and I really need it. And her, like, I think it was grandparents or in-laws of sorts came from like an hour and a half or 2 away just to bring her that disc because she always wanted Kristin to sign it. And so
it's like a kind of a surreal moment for her to be playing with one of her favorite golfers. And I'm sure, you look up to a player like Paige Pierce. And so there was a lot of pressure there. And she really did. come out and play very well.
Right.
Rounds
Proceeded
2 and
to
3.
shoot like 980 golf round 2, 950 golf round 3. Overall, played great.
Almost came back into the cash. So it was really impressive round 2 and 3. My Forge pick and my place pick, or my podium pick, both did not play. Valor Mondahano and Kona Montgomery, excuse me.
Right.
All did not play. And then Matt picked up a couple of points.
He did.
With Paige Chu grabbing a top 10.
Mm-hmm.
But then let's go ahead and go into MPO.
What a wild finish. Oh my gosh.
I mean, just
let real quick, just to set the scene. We decided to get all the guys together.
Oh, yeah.
And do a little cookout over here at my house for the final round coverage, which was so fun.
Grand time. It was so good.
Just, and all of us play in Forge Sports Fantasy, so we've got the live scoring going on. Some of it, we're not paying as much attention to that as we are like the live action going on, seeing who wins. But it's fun to be like talking to the guys that are in your group because some of us are split up.
I wasn't too concerned.
I mean,
I'm picking up dubs. I'm picking up dubs, man. I'm 2 for 2 on the Elite Series this year.
Trey is absolutely crushing everybody on points because I believe you came in third in one of the A tiers, and then you picked up 2 wins, which gave you the 100 and you had a participation from one prior, so you have 127 points. You get 60 from both wins, 5 from a third place, and then 2 from a participation. I believe that's what it was.
Sounds good to me.
But yeah, he's crushing it, so he was not worried at all.
Y'all need to check out Forge Sports Fantasy. We're having a good time over there.
It's always a fun time. A good way to like really root for players that you probably would not pay as much attention to.
Yeah, like I had Cole Redolin, which
we've always been on Cole Redolin.
Yeah, we love Cole Redolin, but I mean, I'm always rooting for him. But maybe you don't know as much about Cole Redolin. You should, and you can root for him when you pick him up on Forge Sports Fantasy.
And we've talked about Trey. You talked about Paul Oman because he was your Forge pick this past time, and he was
lights out the whole tournament. Played way above his rating, and just missed top 10, finishing tied for 12th.
Definitely, we can go ahead and break down. I think I didn't get any points from MPO. You didn't get any points from MPO. Let's see, and then Matt had got 3 points for Calvin podium. Or on the podium.
We haven't even talked about who won.
Oh, I mean, I was going to lead into there, and then we lead into the Adam Hammis comes into the final round, I believe 1 stroke over Vinny. Vinny 1 stroke over the others.
Well, there were 11 players within 3 strokes.
Yeah, it was. I think Statmando said it was the most people. It was that close going into a final round.
It was the closest final round in Disc Golf Pro Tour history. And so, I mean, when live coverage started, I think there were like 18 people in second place, just based on people who had already played and things like that. Joel Freeman came out, I think at one point was 8 down through 7.
Oh,
just
he was
treading.
No, I believe he was 9 down through 9. He could have been.
No, because he bogeyed 9.
Who was it? There was one, maybe it was Paul Oman. Who was it that was like 10 down through 9? They like took an eagle in the midst of it.
Well, that was Joel, but he was 9 down through 8, and then proceeded to bogey 9.
Got it.
Because that's
right. He was 9 down through 8, then took a bogey.
9's a ridiculously hard hole, but Adam went in with the lead and held on to it for a long time.
He even took the ace,
which we got to see live.
We did get to see live.
And it was epic.
I'll toss the video I took of us on here just so you can see the ace. He was throwing the zone. I believe it was a red or pink.
No, it was white zone.
I'm pretty sure it was red.
I'm pretty sure. Well,
I'll confirm it while we talk about it. But to throw an ace in, take a stroke on everybody, at the very least 2 strokes on some.
Yeah.
And then to go down the stretch, and Kyle Klein throws 13 under in the final round, absolutely clutching up.
Yeah, 1084 rated round. It was the best round of the entire tournament. And I just want to talk about the stretch on 17 and 18 where Kyle goes birdie to take the 2-stroke lead and take the win. I think particularly hole 18 was of note here because he knew he had a 1-stroke lead. He knew that Kyle parred 17.
It is white. I don't know why I thought that was red.
It's his signature one that he's thrown for years and years.
Maybe I'm just thinking about his polo.
He loves that thing. But Kyle knows that Adam has taken the par on 17.
Right.
So you could play it safe, right? Go for the par, make Adam get the birdie. But Kyle goes out there and absolutely laces the drive.
You got a little worried that based on the way that it skipped, that it could have grabbed just the edge of that hill, just a little past the basket and trickled into the water. But
he left himself with a 20-footer.
Yeah.
It was, it was a clutch shot. It reminded me of Damian Lillard, just draining a three. That's just what I thought of when I watched it. I was like is Kyle Klein the Damian Lillard of disc golf?
Maybe he is. I mean, if we see a little more out of him over time, but that was, man, it's Kyle's first win since Idlewild 2 years ago, where he went into a playoff with Marweed.
Yep.
And so, I mean, it's super exciting. The UDisc World Ranking showed him going up from 10th to 5th, I believe. 6th, one over Chris Dickerson, who's now 7th.
Correct. But is it time to start talking about Kyle as a top 5 player?
Man, he is crushing it. He's a consistent dude.
And I mean, you can't throw him above Paul, Ricky, or probably not Calvin. But then Eagle, Simon, Kyle Klein, they're all kind of right there together.
Yeah.
Because Kyle finished well at Vegas.
He finished 4th at Vegas.
Yeah, tied for 4th at Vegas, wins this tournament. He is competitive for the 4th best disc golfer right now.
And for the season so far, as it stands, he's playing as good as anybody out there.
Probably.
Calvin being the only person technically better, because Calvin went 1 and 3.
Him and Calvin are battling it out for the top spot right now of this year.
Yeah.
Of course, Ricky hasn't played. Paul was dealing with some poison ivy in the eyes.
He's wearing the shades the whole time, supposedly because of it.
Yeah,
I was going to say, Kyle's sitting here at what I believe is right under $10,000 already on the season. I mean, that's
some money, bro.
That's really good money for the young blood. So I love to see it. Discmania absolutely showing out.
For sure.
So let's talk. Evelina obviously had some pretty, I'll say it, horrific putting round 1. If you didn't see the clip of her on hole 17, 6 putting, I know there's some, you were saying like the camera work on it being like straight past the basket. That is a tough one.
In the circle where there's water behind, he winds up getting hit.
Yeah.
And it's a rough scene. I don't think that so a cameraman being behind the basket is one thing. But being behind the basket in the circle,
right,
where water's behind, you're a potential hazard at that point.
The hard part is that Evelina was what looked like 7 to 10 feet away.
Yeah, it should have been a no-brainer.
You just don't ever expect somebody, and I believe she power grips the putter and just completely way off to the right, goes way past, hits him, she goes, lays up. Then again, like a 7
she didn't even lay up because she hit the basket.
Oh, yeah. But then is another like 7 to 10 foot, goes way past it again, misses another putt, finally puts it in, takes.
And you finally do see the frustration from her. Normally, Evelina is a very calm player. She can even laugh off some of those things. But when she missed the second putt that was really close, and you see her slam her disc, and there was some frustration. And after the round, she putted and putted and putted. She was practicing there for a really long time, to the point where, Paul, I think Paul is on the feature card, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he finishes up. Evelina's still practicing putting.
Right.
And Paul goes up and starts having a conversation with her. And it turns into Paul teaching her, kind of giving her a little bit of a putting lesson, which, kudos to that guy. Kudos to Paul.
Paul's a really good ambassador for the sport.
He's the the best in the game. He's the GOAT, and he's still willing to go and help other players improve their game. And I think the biggest thing toward that is Evelina putting well is going to be so good for the sport. When she figures it out, you better watch out.
She's probably one of the farthest throwing, maybe outside of Ella Hansen.
But she's the best, from tee to green,
right,
in disc golf, in FPO. I have no problem saying that. She is the best. She can throw forehand and backhand extremely well. But when it comes to getting on that putting green, she is atrocious.
Yeah, and then her next 2 rounds weren't any better. She played a 923 average on a 970 rating for herself, and so played, right under 50 points, worse than a rating. That's just a tough scene.
We hope she can figure it out, though.
Yeah, let's talk about the Southern boys out here.
Them Tennessee boys. Gotta shout out the lefty Zach Melton, grabbing tied for 18th.
I love me a little Zach Melton because Zach Melton loves pickleball, and I love pickleball.
And I love Zach Melton. I love lefties. It's fun watching a lefty do well. So,
and Zach Melton goes and beats Chris Dickerson, which it's kind of like week to week. Which Tennessee boy is the better Tennessee boy any given time?
I feel like Zach's never gonna let Chris hear the end of that.
Oh, no, not a chance.
Because typically speaking, Chris is beating Zach on most tournaments.
Right, with Chris being a top 10 player. And Zach Melton is not there currently. He's obviously wonderful for the sport.
Great ambassador, captain for DD.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe this is the springboard. Zach Melton for Worlds.
Maybe. Zach, I still want to play you in pickleball. So if by the off chance you're watching, I'm playing you in pickleball. And
you guys can play singles, and then you got to pick a doubles partner, and we'll both.
You and Chris
against us.
Tennessee boys against Tennessee boys.
Forge Sports Media versus the Tennessee duo.
Dude, I'd love to see it. We went ahead and talked about our points on the picks. Forge Fantasy for the week. Trey obviously took the dub. I came in second place in my group.
Yep.
We had a solid group. I believe we had 7 people in ours. Y'all had 6 people, so pretty solid turnout.
For sure.
Leading into that, because we'll draft again this week for the Open at Austin.
Real quick, I did want to give my most disappointing performance.
Oh.
I was very disappointed in Greg Barsby.
Yeah, Greg. He was on my fantasy. I picked him.
He finished, 96th?
Something like that.
He's a Texas boy, and he also shreds the woods.
You would think that he would play better than that.
And he just did not show up. I don't know what was going on. Didn't get to really see him because he played so poorly. But you expect more out of Barsby.
In Texas.
In Texas especially. I mean,
it was 87th, but that doesn't...
87th, 96th. You're not making any money in either of those positions.
Right.
So...
only when I would...
Tough scene.
I would say, though, I think it's been more of a consistency, and I hate it for him, because I love Paul Ulibarri, but he's not been playing to the caliber that obviously he wants to play to. And he posted about that.
Yeah,
he mentioned, hey, I'm going through a trial right now. This is obviously not the disc golf I want to be playing. And so we'll see where the season takes him, but that would probably be mine. Though I think it's maybe a little more like, hey, I think we've seen a little bit of a consistency there.
Understood for sure. Yeah, I thought about Yuli as well, but it seems like he's going through some stuff. So hopefully we can see him bounce back as well as Barsby. But yeah, Austin.
So inaugural event.
Yeah, it's the first time that it's on the Pro Tour.
It's exciting.
There'll be 3 rounds, no cut at the Harvey Pinnock Park. It is a ball golf course.
A wide open act.
Well, sort of. It's very different from what I was able to ascertain. I looked at the caddy book, and there definitely are some open shots. There's the 1,000-foot par 5. They've got a lot of different things going. But the big thing that I noticed from the caddy book was a lot of shots where you start in the woods and you have to hit an initial gap into the open.
Right.
And then the basket itself is protected by woods as well.
Okay.
So you're seeing a lot of those shots, a lot of 400-foot par 3s, 380-foot par 3s. It's featuring, for the MPO side, it's featuring 5 par 4s and 1 par 5. One of the par 4s is only 460 feet, so that we might see some eagle ops there.
Right.
So it's interesting, and it's hard to know what to expect at a course like this because we've not seen the Pro Tour play it. It's a ball golf course, but it does seem to have its unique flair. I was able to watch Connor O'Reilly put out a video back in December for his Vlogmas, where he, James Conrad, and Nate Perkins got to actually run the course where they had their ideas and they were able to provide some feedback. And the property looks awesome.
It does. I think maybe I'm wrong, but maybe Adam Hammis already posted a picture out that way.
Oh, he probably did. The course was open on Monday or today, I guess.
The weather is just getting so much better, and we've got a little more sunlight in the day. So, I mean, I think all around it's just the most wonderful time for disc golf right now.
Oh yeah, it's getting great. But the course looks like it's got a ton of potential.
What do you think about 3-round events versus 4 rounds, potentially with or without a cut?
I think I personally like the 4-round with a cut after 2.
Cut after 2 or cut after 3?
I like the ball golf route where they cut after 2.
Right.
Because in theory, so a lot of times the 4-round tournaments play 2 courses.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way the Disc Golf Pro Tour has gone about it. And it does give you the opportunity to play both courses.
Right.
And so if there's a wide open course and a wooded course and you're a woods golfer, you get your opportunity to shred your side and then do what you have to do to make the cut on the open course.
Right.
So
that's what you would like to see.
I would like to see more of that. I know that we're kind of limited as far as courses go. So like we only have one course. You're typically not wanting to play that course 4 times. At least that's what we're seeing on the Pro Tour.
Yeah, what I would love, and I mean, we were talking about this weekend while watching some of the final coverage, which is why I bring it up. You mentioned an interesting point of, getting multiple courses, which I think could be good when it comes to, and maybe I don't even feel this way, when it comes to playing a major. I would love to see at some point the majors be, there's one particular course that we always play at this event, similar to the Champions Cup, playing W.R. Jackson every year.
Or USDGC.
Right. I like the idea of one course throughout 4 events, but I would love to see properties that have enough space to where you could have alternate pin positions to where they play separate approach shots so that on each individual day, you've got different shots you're having to throw into the green.
That could be interesting.
And now that would have to be, you kind of got like a wide open, maybe like trees in the center and then a little fairways on each side so that you can get used to your tee shot, but you don't necessarily have the same in every time. So it's different, but that'll come when disc golf has properties that you can landscape from the get-go, similar to like what Paul's doing in New London. But I love the idea of one course for 4 rounds because it shows who wins this particular event. And you're going to have your woods golf courses. It's like playing a variety of ball golf tournaments where it's, hey, this course has skinnier, like noodle thin greens. It's like playing the St. Jude in Memphis at, I'm forgetting the TPC course name. I've played out there, but like the greens are super tiny. The fairways are super thin, but then you've also got courses that play massive fairways with more bunkers in them and huge greens that have swooping undulation on them. And it's, hey, certain golfers are going to play better on different tracks. And so like these events play better. And so over the course of the season, you've got a varying grouping events.
Yeah, for sure. And I personally kind of like the 2 course layout. I think it provides it allows, so where you're pushing for golfers who play well in particular conditions, when you're playing 2 courses, I think it provides more opportunity for the best disc golfers to win the tournament.
I also would like a mix in a course. Like I wouldn't want just all open.
Well, that's kind of like what we're stuck with for the most part. It's like either we're playing on ball golf courses or we're playing in the woods.
Which is why this is like more of a, when money hits the scene. Like in a real way. Like
where we've got like an Eagles Crossing.
Yeah.
Or like you mentioned New London. Dylan Cease is the Chicago White Sox baseball player. Have you seen that Paul's designing a course for him?
I have not, but it doesn't surprise me, Paul.
Yeah.
So they've got one of the best course designers long term.
Yeah. And so Dylan Cease is like an ace baseball player for the Chicago White Sox and pitcher. And he loves disc golf. And so he bought property to build a disc golf course.
That's super cool.
But
I'd love to see all that happen. So
for sure. Let's break this down though. Let's one identifying feature from the course, tons of OB, tons of hazards. So there's a lot of sand traps.
I love that personally. When it comes to playing a ball golf course, seeing the hazards just it makes the ball golf course experience in disc golf that much more enjoyable because it makes true placement shots happen.
Oh, for sure. It does provide a little bit of flair or a little bit of variance where some ball golf courses are roller.
Right.
Eagle McMahon's going to win.
Right.
But anyway.
I would love at some point in time, and maybe this comes into like some of like your XC tier type events, similar to, you mentioned one time, like the minor league will like test out new rules for the MLB.
Yeah.
At times, I would love to see some XC tiers where like you play a ball golf course, but you've got these hazards, and not only are you getting a stroke penalty, but maybe you have to take a standstill, and so it is a par 4 or something like that. So you can't have this full run up leading into it. So you are like very penalized because the bunker is like tough. Like that is no joke in golf. That is like the hardest. Now, I mean that's could be a little gimmicky, like, but again,
it's an XC tier. It's like not a big
try
deal.
it out.
It's like a tournament that Thomas and I would play in.
Right.
But,
so I think it'd be fun to test out some stuff. But we can talk about that in another podcast. We've got a lot of thoughts on how to make the game of disc golf maybe a little more difficult, challenging, and I don't know, maybe it's not necessary, but reduce some of the par counts. But we'll talk about that in a different episode.
For sure.
That's a long conversation.
Let's make some picks.
Heck yeah.
Let's do it. So
start off in the MPO.
Yeah, we'll do the same thing we did last week. We will pick a winner. We'll pick someone to podium, and we will make our Forge pick. And if you look at the ratings, the cutoff is the same one. Everyone 1027 and above is unavailable.
1027 and above.
So 1026 is the first one we can pick. And so while you're getting that together, I will make my first pick. To win the Open at Austin, I'm taking the 2021 world champ, James Conrad.
That dude's got an arm. He's real good.
He can play disc golf.
He can actually play disc golf. I wish he could throw a forehand.
I've seen him throw a forehand. I've seen him.
You have. That would have saved him a little at the end of Waco. We saw that little pinched off shot where it definitely felt like a forehand would have been the better play, and
he opted for the backhand because he definitely feels more comfortable going there. But I feel like for a 275, 300 foot shot, James can probably shape a forehand shot out there.
Right.
But that's my pick to win. Thomas, who you got for taking it down?
I'm taking the man, I go back and forth. All right, I'm going to do it. Yeah. I'm going to pick Gannon Berg.
Ooh,
I think he's going to take it out on the ball golf. Like he's really got that dog in him. Like for his age, for what's going on in his life. But I think Gannon Berg is going to take it down.
I almost picked Gannon to win. That's a good pick. I like that a lot.
He's got it.
And then Matt is going to go with Calvin Heimberg.
All right.
And then we'll go back to Matt. His podium finisher is the one, the only, Kyle Klein. So he's got Calvin Klein.
Calvin Klein.
That's
a classic joke.
And then Thomas, who is on your podium?
Who is on my podium? That's a really good question. I'm going to go with Calvin Heimberg as my podium finish. He did so good in Vegas. I mean, he did very good at Las Vegas. I almost wanted to pick him as the podium or as the winner, but I do think Calvin is a safe bet for a podium.
For sure. And I'm going to take, again, I picked him last time for the podium. I'm going to go Paul McBeth.
All right.
I think in particular on a new course where we don't necessarily know what's going to happen, it makes a lot of sense to go with someone who is consistently good across all courses. And he's the highest rated player and he's the best disc golfer of all time. So I think that's my safe pick there. And for my Forge pick, we talk about being a ball golf course. We talk about long drives. We talk about somebody who has been known to pop off on these longer courses.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to take Kristin Tattar.
He's got it on.
Gosh, I think I remember hearing on Jomez that he has thrown like a 700-foot standstill shot or something on flat ground.
It doesn't surprise me.
Like, that man's going to throw 1,000 feet or something. It's crazy. But Kristin Tattar is going to grab that top 10.
I'm gonna make a pick that I think is a Forge favorite.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick James Proctor.
Oh, we do love James Proctor.
And you know, like the more I watch him, the more he just is consistent. Like he shows that he can play a whole round, and even in the midst of like taking a couple bogeys here and there, like he did in that last round, he's still like he played great.
In the last 2 tournaments, he is 1 round away from being right in the mix.
Yeah.
It was round 2 at Vegas, and then the last round at Waco.
Right.
If he can put together the full tournament, watch out.
Yeah.
He could just start popping off and winning multiple tournaments.
Definitely. He played really good in Vegas. So outside of that last round, again, just like, 1 away from absolutely killing it, almost taking a win. So
I love that Forge pick.
Matt does not have one. Let's just give him the highest rated. No, Matt's got too many points.
Should we go?
Let's give him Jeremy Colling.
Yeah.
Jeremy Colling is
I'm here
Matt's Forge pick at a 10-20 rated round.
If he, we'll stick with that for now. If he can get it to us by the end of the podcast, we can give him somebody else.
And did you text him?
Yeah. I texted him.
Nice. And then on the FPO side, we'll go ahead and swoop across because I think this is unexpected. All of us picked Kristin Tattar again as the winner.
Yeah. I picked Kristin, and so did Matt.
Yeah. So pretty solid.
We're
Podium finish.
Yeah, we'll let you go first on that one.
Let me pull up my FPO list again. I think I've got a pretty good idea of who I want.
I'm not picking Valerie Mondahano again in case she doesn't play.
Case.
I do not.
I'm gonna take Katrina Allen. I'll go ahead and write that in here.
Safe pick. Makes a lot of sense. She's a top 3 player right now, so it makes total sense. I went with Owen Scoggins.
What a player.
She is so consistent. Like, she's always there. She may not win too many tournaments, but she is always right there. She's kind of like the Matty O of FPO.
Yeah, she is super good.
And so that was my podium pick. Matt also made a great pick, went with Ella Hansen.
I think that's a really solid pick.
She's coming second.
Yeah.
She's coming second in the last 2 tournaments.
And I think as Ella does this more, I think it's having that pressure on her.
Oh, for sure.
Like Kristin has done it. She coming into the stretch is relatively a non-event at this point. Like in terms of pressure, there will always be some. But
at Worlds, majors, big events, like the tournaments where she's expected to win, European Open, like there will be pressure on her, but nothing like what Ella had on her.
No, and then all of us are taking similar picks except for you. Matt's going to come in with his 4th pick as Paige Shue.
Great pick, got points last time.
Absolutely crushed it. Maybe she's about to be on a tear. I would love to see it
for sure.
Trey.
I'm going with 1/2 of the FPO Jomez coverage, Erica Stinchcomb.
Definitely. I like the pick.
She can throw. She's got a mixed bag right now. She's throwing a lot of different discs. She can throw really far. And I think she's going to grab a top 10.
I would love to see it. Myself, it's my pick from last week, Caroline Henderson. She's the type of person that I get excited to tell my wife, look at this person, that's new to the sport, has an athletic background, and has potential to come in and absolutely crush it. So
yeah.
I think she has the potential to be a really good ambassador for the sport.
Yeah. And
she mentioned the idea of her and her husband selling their house, buying an RV to go on the road. So I wish you the best.
Yeah, most definitely. It's going to be an exciting tournament. I'm excited to watch a new course. We're going to definitely be watching some live coverage again.
Oh, yeah. And we'll be watching plenty. Now, me and Matt will be playing a tournament on Saturday. We're rolling up to London, Kentucky. We're playing the Thaw down at the Branch. It's put on by Jordan Infield as the tournament director. He designed that course. He designed the one at Indian Mountain. He's the one that designed that course.
If you guys are in East Tennessee, even in the West, East Kentucky area, you need to play Indian Mountain.
It's a super long course. Me and Trey are the type that throw our big distance shot anywhere between 300 and 350.
Yeah,
somewhere in
so.
that generic range.
Yeah. Good drives anyway.
Yeah, and there are 450-foot par 3s out there, but there are also your 335-foot par 3s that we could reach if we really
Got
put
a hold
on.
of one, yeah.
And so it's super fun course. Really save yourself if you're like prevent the bogeys as much as possible.
Oh, for sure. So
New discs.
new discs. There were a ton of new discs from companies that I did not recognize. Not to discredit anybody who's making new discs.
No.
I love it. But there was one that stood out. The Trash Panda Dune.
All right.
Trash Panda, they are. I think he's committed to making completely recycled discs.
Yeah.
Which is a super cool idea.
Jesse is he's really good at filmmaking, and I think anything that he puts together tells a story super well. He does a lot of those videos that are like, hey, I listened to all of your tips on how to get better, and I filmed myself over the course of a month or a week trying these out, and this is what happened. And then honestly, me and you were talking before this, he had a video where he got like very raw and emotional about the process of his first disc that he released, doing this and the process behind that. And Jesse, that was a wonderful video. I think that really speaks to like, yeah, there are a lot of really low times when it comes to putting a lot of effort and time and like emotional investment into something. To see you put out another disc is just like that speaks volumes to your character and your perseverance.
And it's super exciting for us. We're excited to see you grow your brand and grow your company. And we're excited to get our hands on one, dude.
Yeah, we'll have to make sure to get one.
Yeah, so I did a little disc comparison, and there is not too many discs quite like the Dune. I had to expand my ranges a little bit, but the closest I could find was the MVP Uplink. So we're looking at more than likely an understable mid-range.
All right.
Which is a fond spot in my bag. Right now I'm bagging the Lobster.
Right.
But I'm definitely going to be trying out the Dune
when
it comes out, when I can get my hands on one. So Jesse, if you happen to listen, would love to try out the Dune.
Yeah. Let's go in. We've got Foshee's Fun and Games. You briefed me on this a little bit.
Yeah, for
Tell
sure.
people what we got.
It's back. We love Foshee's Fun and Games. We're gonna draft some disc golfers again, but this is gonna be a little bit different. Thomas, I want to know the 3 disc golfers that you would want to go to Dave & Buster's with.
Gosh, this is who gets to go first?
I'm thinking of number 1 or 2. What is it?
2.
It was 1. So
You want to go first? Or
I'll
you wanna
go
second.
I'll go first. We'll snake it.
All right. Run it.
And so, I mean, I'm not going to give any criteria here. Number 1, it's got to be Zach Melton.
Oh, okay. I see the route you're going. I think we'll be on different ends of this.
So I'm just going for a good time.
Yeah.
I want somebody who's going to make me laugh, who's going to go all in with the games, going to, go play laser tag, do all the things, probably beat me in bowling.
Yeah.
I got to be in there with a lefty. So I got to go Zach Melton. We're going to have a great time.
I think that's a good one. I'm going to come in with a hot duo. All right. You ready?
Hit me.
I'm going in with Alden Harris and Gannon Burr.
Oh, I see.
I think I would have the most, you just have the most fun with people that are just goofy. Like, I don't know. I don't think I could think, and you'd get an insane vlog out of that on Alden's channel. So
no doubt.
that'd be hilarious to watch them interact.
Alden again. Very nice. All right.
So we're doing 4 total, right?
Oh, yeah. I said 3. We'll do 4 for the fun of it. I think 4 seems more fun. The more the merrier. So I am picking up a theme here as well. I'm gonna go with Zach's good friend Calvin Heimberg,
That's a good one.
and I'll pair them up with Luke Humphreys.
Hey, that's who I wanted so bad. I wanted Luke Humphreys. He was part of my dream card.
Oh yeah.
Because all right, it cut while Trey was talking about your number 2 and 3.
Calvin Heimberg, Luke Humphreys.
What such a good pick.
With Zach Melton.
That would be so
Gosh,
fun to
we're
watch.
gonna have such a good time.
Gosh, that's so good.
So now you got to throw in your last 2.
Gosh, man, I really thought you weren't gonna take Luke Humphreys. All right, I'm gonna take my first one as Nate Perkins.
Okay, that's a good pick.
He's a fun dude. He just seems like a good guy to like hang out with.
Super chill too.
And I think my other person is going to be Nate Sexton.
Man, you went with the Prodigy Boys, the vloggers, and then you took the two chillest guys on tour.
Dude, they would. I think it would be vibe between like the guys that are just like a little bit older in the disc golf scene, alongside like the two young bloods. Like that would be so fun.
Oh, for sure. Oh, who am I going to round it out with? I had a couple of names in mind. I'm gonna roll it out with a young gun. I'm going Cole Redolin.
Dude, Cole
seems like he'd have a great time.
He would. That'd be a super fun one to be with. He's got so much going for him on the disc golf scene. Like he's got to be at a point where like Dave & Buster's would be an absolute wonderful time. Everybody's like excited about Cole in the scene.
Yeah, he's kind of like on the outside of the group that I brought, but in reality, like everyone's super excited for him because he's a young gun who's absolutely shredding it. So we're just gonna have a grand old time.
Oh, that'll be good.
So
I'm gonna run this off little Thomas's top 5.
I know nothing. And that's my favorite part of Thomas's top 5 is I like have no clue what he's about to tell me.
I like pulling stupid topics in for Thomas's top 5. Something that just is like not related to disc golf for the most part. Like I'll do marketing and business related stuff because that's just what I do.
Yeah.
Major. But I will label this as the top 5 MPO players that I think could have the best chance at beating Magnus Carlsen at chess. Or like the top 5 disc golfers that are the best at chess, completely objectively speaking. Zero like stats behind this.
You mean subjective?
Or yes, it's very subjective, not objective. Yeah, this is all based on feel. And I haven't looked anything up about people playing chess in the disc golf scene, but coming in at number 5, I picked a guy that just feels like he seems like a really smart dude. Bradley Williams.
Okay, I like that pick.
He's got this feel to him that just says, I'm a smart guy. I feel like he could have been like a pre-med type major.
I could see it.
Coming in at number 6, and I had this person in my. Oh God,
Math is hard.
Well, I wrote this in the list. I wrote 5, and it wouldn't go in reverse order. It started counting up, and I was like, I just quit. Coming in number 4, this was on my list of Dave & Buster's. I picked Nate Perkins. He just had this vibe about me that just says, you probably could enjoy a cup of coffee in the morning and a good old-fashioned game of chess. I feel like he would rock it on over-the-board chess. Like he would be a guy that hates using chess.com.
But he's just a naturalist. Like he just wants the chessboard right there for him.
Definitely. Coming in at number 3, and I don't know, smart guy, maybe a little bit nerdy. This comes down to his disc knowledge. And I think if you know discs like the back of your hand, you probably would also be good at chess. But Casey White.
Okay. Yeah.
Casey's got an unbelievable knowledge of discs.
I thought you were going to say me for a second. I was like, I'm so honored.
Yeah, that would be wild. But yeah, Casey, he's got the wits about him to know discs like no other. Like, the video of Simon and Casey feeling discs, and Casey is just unreal.
Oh, and it's not just Discmania.
Right. It's everything. He is just like a plastic addict, like that term used at its most accurate form.
For sure.
Coming in at number 2, Kyle Klein. He looks like he would have been a chess club kid.
What does that mean?
He's got that nerdy little bit about it. Don't get me wrong. I'm a nerd. I play chess. I'm a nerd. There's a Rubik's Cube sitting over there. So
there it is.
If anybody gets to call somebody a nerd, it's this nerd right here. And Kyle Klein, you look like a nerd. Just a little bit. But a nerd is not a bad thing.
Okay.
So Kyle Klein, I think he would absolutely rip me to shreds in chess.
Okay. Who's your number 1?
Number 1. And I think this is an unexpected pick. But again, this is all subjective, all based on feel. But I think Corey Ellis would rip some people at chess. Like, I feel like if you just like set
Wow.
up a chessboard off at like a tournament, or you got like the Airbnb that some guys are staying at for the weekend for a tournament, he would absolutely dominate in chess over the weekend.
Huh. That's not who I was thinking you were going to say at number one. I'm going to give my notable snub
All right.
to Calvin Heinberg, my fellow chemical engineer.
Oh,
The man's big brains.
He does have a big brain.
And so he's making smart decisions on the disc golf course, in the classroom, getting that chemical engineering degree,
Yeah.
and on that chessboard. That's my notable snub there.
Notable snub. If you think I missed somebody, let me know in the comments.
And also, like and subscribe.
Please like and subscribe. We have, at the time of recording, 21 subscribers. We've got 97 followers on Instagram. We just made a TikTok. We would particularly like your YouTube subscription.
Yeah, if you're enjoying the content we're making, we've gotten a lot of positive feedback, but we would love to see some subscriptions.
We put out this content for you guys. It would mean a lot to us, especially if you're watching and you're not subscribed. Follow us on Instagram. We're looking at doing a giveaway in the near future as we kind of bolster those numbers a little bit. So thank you guys for watching. That's the dozen episodes down.
It's crazy that we've made it this far. I mean, we're just getting started, but it feels like a long time too. So thanks for listening. Check us out. Look for us at the Music City Open.
Yeah, we just got our tickets today.
So we're going. So we'll be there.
Exciting. Catch us in our 4 chats. I'm not wearing mine right now, but we've got the 4 chats that we picked up with the anvil on it. So look out for us.
Look out for the anvil.
Heck yeah. Trey.
Thomas.
See you guys.